today you are going to learn how to massively improve your productivity. Now, I realized this after literally over a decade of doing my best to achieve success and be as highly productive as I can be. You hear about people like Elon Musk or others doing time boxing, but when you think about it in practical nature, how the heck do you break your time down into by the minute results and by the minute productivity? It's a little different than you would think, and we're going to cover that today. And I guarantee you this is something you have never heard before or thought of doing that can drastically improve your productivity. So let's get right on into it. So last week, I was wanting to figure out how I could improve. I work with a good friend of mine to continuously learn and get an external perspective about what I can do to be more successful. Now, the first thing, of course, is be thinking about how you can become more successful. That's a low-hanging fruit, but we're going to get into what we really figured out and how it can change your life and your awareness of what you're doing on a daily basis and how you can be more productive. So as we're going through this, we meet in the mornings, and I just wanted to understand how much time I was actually missing out on, or how productive I was actually being. So what I did is for the next 7 days, I kept a log of absolutely everything that I did. What that allowed me to do is know exactly from beginning to end of my day, what was I doing? Do it for a week gives you a full understanding of exactly where your time is going. To do this, you can just pull up notes and keep a running log. I just kept them all in one spot from a practical standpoint. And then whenever I had a new thing I was doing, I would note that down. I would note down even to the minute if I got distracted and I went on social media, or if I watched YouTube videos, I would log what I watched and just the time from beginning to end of that behavior all the way through. If I jumped in the car to go drive somewhere, I noted all of those things. And after about a week, I took all that data and started to realize that I had a massive opportunity for improvement by punching this information, just copy pasted it all into ChatGPT and started looking at how I could be more productive. So now we get into some of the insights on top of that first behavior. The first thing you're going to do, literally keep a log of every minute of what you do. Next, when I punched it into ChatGPT, I started to realize some things that were a little odd and some insights that came along with that. First was, I wasn't thinking about categorizing my time. So that's tip number 2, is to categorize your time. So you have your work activities, but what activities are highly productive? That means that they can directly translate to making you more money versus activities that are just operational. Maybe you're sending emails or dealing with some administrative things like making a payment or what have you. Those sort of things all have different categories. So what I ended up on was about 8 different categories. Number 8 is the category things you never want to do. Number 1 is your highly productive work. And number 2, your strategic, your thinking-oriented work. It's important. It's proportionally should be a little bit less time, of course, than your highly productive work, where your highly productive work is your doing of all these strategies and plans that you make. And then you have operational work, personal life and family, and all the way down categories 1 through 8. And then what I did, third step, to assign percentages to those categories of what your target usage of that time is. Now, before we go further on this, it's important to know 2 things. What are your goals? What are you really after? Because if you wanted to raise capital, for example, you're going to have a different goal and a different set of actions that are going to lead up to that. Or if you want to build a product, again, a different goal, different set of actions. If you want to get healthy, different goal, different set of actions. So what can be defined as highly productive work is shaped around what your goals are and who you want to be. For example, if you're a video game streamer or a professional video gamer, your highly productive work is playing video games, and then your strategy and preparation work is watching your games back. Totally different thing, but for some person, that is their highly productive work. So it's great for you to define this by yourself and figure that out. After I started to see those categorizations, now I was able to give that data to a friend who loves Excel. And what he did is he made a tracker where I can just keep track of everything. But here's the beauty of it. When you lay out all the actions from A to Z, and you can take a lot of those actions from what you actually did, but chances are what you actually did when you track all your time for those 7 days, you're going to grow because you're going to realize, wait, I didn't want to do that behavior. I didn't want to do that. That actually wasn't productive. That wasn't producing value for me. Or the other side of this is that you just realize better ways to do the things that you're going to do that are more direct. So in this tracker, I call it the time allocation tracker, then I have it set out to the minute of what I'm doing. So right now, this is a highly productive activity. This is me shooting a video. I'm going to go back into my tracker after this and note it. And then I have all my time aggregated. I can see the insights there. So I know this is for somebody who really wants to be highly productive. But even just if you want to have insights about who you are and what you're doing and how you can be better or happier, take track of the things that you do for 7 days, and you will be surprised just to really be aware down to the minute of where your time goes and how you're using your time and how you can get more value out of it. So my philosophy with this is that, hey, those who track and properly utilize their time soon don't have to track and properly utilize, within reason, their money, right? When you're using your time for highly productive work as the maximum amount as you can, you're going to be making more money. You're going to be more successful. You're going to get more streamlined. Even for me, I'm like, hey, let me be smarter with my calories. Let me be smarter with making sure that I get to bed at the right time and turn off the TV, or I cool my brain down. Don't use the phone after a certain time. It's really just putting everything into context. And that's really what this is all about. So to wrap it up, you're going to get down into these specifics, down to the nitty gritty, down to the detail, down to the minute. But the key thing that I learned on top of that is that if you want to perform a certain set of behaviors and actions and patterns, note out what those are, but then just focus on being in the moment and executing that piece by piece. And when you do that, you are going to drastically improve your productivity, because being right here, right now, you can't do what you're going to do at 6:30 p.m. right now if it's a time-rooted activity. For example, for me, it is no electronics or no phone after 6:30 p.m. So I can't do that right now. So if I'm thinking about that all the time, I'm just creating stress for myself. And so final tip to be more productive, be in the moment, realize it's a process. I just gave you something that can save you years in figuring out how you can be more successful and productive. So what are your highly productive activities? Share them in the comments, because again, you could be a gamer and that's your highly productive activity. I want to know what those are. I'm sure other people who listen to this and view this video are going to want to know as well, because then you realize, hey, we're all different. We're all unique. And that's really fun. That's really exciting. And you being yourself and making the most out of you, who you are, is what you're here to do. So finally, subscribe to this flipping channel, because I'm making these videos. I'm a real world entrepreneur who's been doing it for years. And my goal is to save you years of time and headache and frustration. And I want you to get all this information, what I create now and what I create in the future. So hit subscribe. I would extremely gratefully, joyously appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video.